And hello, welcome to Open, the show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren, Jaime. Today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough and across New York City. Coming up, we'll sit down with a lifelong public servant who hopes to reshape the future of our city, possibly as its mayor. And after that, we'll explore the pressing concerns happening in Assembly District 86, the crucial steps that are being taken to assist the residents there. Then we'll discuss the new tools and resources the IRS is providing for its taxpayers, helping them to navigate the tax season and this process with ease. And finally, we'll talk about the Center's 1968's mission, fostering a future where Black women lead and transform communities. So we encourage you to stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I am Daren Jaime. You're now watching Open, a live program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Well, some things have been going on throughout the past week. We'll take you through some with our Bronx updates. And we kick off our show today with education news. New York City public school students started the academic year with new green Omni cards, granting 4 free subway rides daily. However, a recent crackdown reveals students using the cards away from school zones, and they're being flagged for fraud. Some cards have been deactivated when used at unexpected locations. The city subsidizes these student fares, and fraud detection aims to prevent misuse. Chief Customer Service Officer Shanifa Rier, stated, quote, "In the new cases of improper use of those cards, they'll be deactivated, and we defer to New York City Public Schools to resolve the matter." In other news, a new initiative is tackling the opioid crisis in the Bronx, which has the city's highest rates of opioid-related fatalities. The new $600,000 initiative will focus on expanding support services, improving access to treatment, and reinvesting money into the most impacted neighborhoods, including the Hub. Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson stated, "We have to do more to save our constituents and give them a real hope and a successful future." Well, that's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but guess what? We have more Open when we return. And we are back. The borough of the Bronx faces a variety of challenges, from the ongoing drug crisis, as we mentioned earlier, to the need for affordable housing, improved maternal health care, and public enhanced safety measures. We've got one local leader that's been at the forefront of these initiatives, advocating for solutions, as well as promoting economic development, sustainability, and community well-being. Here, we're pleased to be joined by the New York State Assemblymember of the 86th Assembly District, Yudelka Tapia, and Assemblywoman Tapia. Thank you for being with us. And I was trying to get our history together. First time having you here. Thank you.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been talking a little bit earlier in the show, talking about the Bronx, dedicating money to the opioid drug crisis. We know how big and prevalent it is in your Assembly District. But from your perspective, how bad is it?
It's the worst that we could talk about, because I mean, we have 74% increase in black men and women overdose, and 100% in Latinos families. Mm-hmm. And that is an epidemic. That's right. An epidemic that is killing our black and brown people. And that's something that we haven't bring all the resources that are needed, because I mean, overdose and drug abuse is a health issue. Right. And it has to be treated like that. So, and I think, I mean, we haven't done that in many years, and we have forgotten, and the administrations have forgotten about the Bronx, and who are the people that live here, and what is the pain that they feel, and how do we meet them where they actually are. Because otherwise we are not going to get the solution. We are not going to get to them. We are not going to be able to give the resources that they need. And I think, I mean, that's exactly, guys, between 2019 and 2023, 3,500 Bronx people, black and browns, died from overdose. Mm-hmm. And that is unacceptable, that we don't look around and see, okay, something is happening that we are not taking care of.
And one of the things that you advocate for is you say, listen, we've got to get in the area of treatment and not so much focus on the area of punishment. We understand that it's a crime, but at the same time, treatment.
Well, it's not a crime, guys. It's a pain. It's not having affordable housing. It's being homeless. It's not having a good job. Those are the things that bring the pain to people that want to forget how bad they are. Right. Doing in their families, in their ambient. So it's not criminal. It is just that we are not putting the resources for the needs that our community have, and we are not meeting them where they really are. And I think, I mean, that we have to reduce harm. We have to make sure that we put money and resources in those areas and make sure that they are getting the attention that they need. And that's the reason why part of the legislation that I put in this year and put it in the budget and asking in the budget is for the clubhouses. The clubhouses, there are I think, I mean, 15 clubhouses here in the city of New York. In the Bronx, we have maybe one or two. And I had the opportunity to go and visit one to see exactly what is the impact that is having in our people, black and brown, that actually are in the need of somebody understanding from where they're coming from. And when I did that, I was completely surprised. And I love what they do and how are they doing it. And I'm calling for $15 million so we could put 15 more clubhouses in the whole state of New York, not only in the city of New York.
I know another problem that we're talking about here in New York City is really affordable housing, right? That's a crisis that extends well in your area. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about where we are here, because we see an influx of construction going on, but then the question becomes, hey, how affordable is it? Who's going to be able to live here? Because as everybody's talking about, rent prices are high, home ownership, it's a problem.
Of course, it's a problem. I mean, especially when you're talking about, for example, my district, the median income in my district is $24,900 per year for a family of four. Do you think that they can afford a rent that is $2,500 for a single bedroom apartment? $3,500 for a two-bedroom apartment if you have children. They cannot afford that type of rent. So I mean, this is the biggest crisis that we have, not only in the city of New York, neither in the Bronx, but in the whole state of New York. And last year, in the year before, and the year before last, we passed good conservation to try to protect our tenants and just stop the abuse that many landlords are taking now. And let me tell you, we try to protect also the tenants that are already in the tenant. For example, I have a building that the landlord just disappeared. The landlord disappeared and he stopped paying the electricity. And there are 27 apartments in that building. Mm-hmm. And the Con Ed was saying that they were gonna just take out the electricity in all the common areas. Of course, they came to my office, the whole building came to my office, and I was able to stop it. But I mean, could you imagine? It is $10,000 that the landlord has to pay for that electricity that the tenants are paying, and they wanted the tenants to pay for it. Impossible. So I mean, there are many things happening that the landlords take advantage from our tenants, and that's why my office is always the back of the tent, making sure that they are treated like they deserve and that they don't lose the only place that they have, on the roof under their head that they have. So, I mean, this is something that we've been fighting really badly. And let me tell you, I go for the governor. The governor has spent $1 billion for affordable housing here for the Bronx. We have to figure out how that's going to be done and how HCR are going to work on it. Right. And also my colleague, the city council, have put them in $2 billion to see how we're gonna ameliorate the crisis in affordable housing. But that's something that's gonna last forever, because we know that there are people that want to make their money, and they don't care about what's happening in our family. I mean, within our families.
So much going on in your district. I can only hit a few things, but I do want to be able to talk about. We talked about housing a little bit. Talk to me about. You see this influx of e-scooters, right, in your neighborhood, and e-bikes, and it's great that we're electric, but you got some concerns. I see you got your face frowned up. So talk to me about what do you feel about it, and what are you proposing to do about it?
Well, remember that in January 9, 2022, happened the biggest fire that ever, and the most destroyed that ever happened in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. 17 people died in that fire in the Twins Park, 181st, the center of my district and the backyard, my backyard. And when we found out that it was not only that, but it was also the closing doors. It was something that people didn't have their thing. And then I have also a supermarket. 3 supermarkets actually in my district, that because of the e-bike lithium batteries, they were charging the batteries inside because they worked there and they had to come back and forth, and the whole buildings were destroyed. My community is suffering because, I mean, we don't have that supermarket that was the one who supplied our communities, and it was because the batteries were not qualify, and that they're using batteries because, I mean, the point is that we have 65,000 at least delivery people, men, the immigrants, the majority of them, that's how they put the food on the table. And if a battery that is qualified costs $1,000, and the bike that they're using costs like $2,500, and they are making little money, how are they going to do? How are they going to make the living and put it in? So what happened is that and that's the reason why, because I mean, we have like 249 deaths around my district because of lithium batteries that were used and they get fired, and it's very difficult for the fire department to put them out because of however they are done.
And you say you have more than 200 related deaths?
Yes. Yes, we have more than 200 related deaths. I mean, it's been diminishing because, I mean, we were able to pass the law in the city. I mean, but not in the whole state. I have a law for the state to actually be able to do a exchange for the batteries that the delivery has to use because they cannot pay for 1,000 and they have to use whatever they can afford to be able to put the food on the table. So I have that law too, that bill that I have in there. The governor vetoed it last year because we were asking for $60 million to be able to do the exchange, which I think, I mean, is only fair because, I mean, we had to protect our community, especially the one that have the children in the school that had to pay for rent, that had to, and then if they are undocumented, which many are, I mean, they have to find a way how they're going to feed the family. And so I have the exchange bill, which would exchange the batteries that they have for the actually qualified, certified batteries that would prevent from those fires to happen. And then also creating the charger spaces for those batteries outside the building that they live, protected, and they can. I mean, I'm thinking I'm asking for $30 million for that this year to the governor, and I'm expecting that is going to happen because, I mean, the whole assembly is supporting the bill. And I think we're going to put the pressure on the governor to be able to do it.
You got vetoed last time. Second time's a charm, huh? We hope
Of
so.
course, of course.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, right?
I have never stopped doing what I believe is the right thing to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Assemblywoman Tapia, thank you so much for being with us. Assemblymember Yudelka Tapia from the 86th Assembly District, talking about the work that's going on in the district. Now listen, it's very vast. It's a lot that's going on. Couldn't have covered it all in one segment. But if you do want more information, go ahead and email her at help@yudelkatapia.com. And then also follow her on Instagram at Yudelka for the Bronx. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. Guess what? We do have more open coming up, and we're coming up right after this.
We're going to start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at BronxNet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at bronxnet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit bronxnet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
And we are back. New York City stands at a critical crossroads, challenges ranging from the high cost of living to ensuring public safety and affordable housing. Our next guest dedicated his life to tackling these issues head on. His early career in public service to his time as a White House aide, where he worked to create jobs and foster economic growth under the Obama administration. Joining me now is the candidate for the 2025 New York City mayoral election, the Reverend Michael Blake. Former assembly members.
going on,
Good to
Dave?
see you, brother. How you doing?
Good to see you, Rev. What's up, man?
All is well, man. I'm here, man. I'm trying to maintain it.
Your Blazer game is strong.
It is?
I support this.
Listen, I support you. You looking good, too.
I'm
huh?
trying. I'm working right now.
Yeah, you grinding. Listen, with all that's going on between Washington, D.C. and then New York City, we know what's happening with Mayor Eric Adams. Talk to me about just your vision as you see New Yorkers right now, because a lot of New Yorkers are in limbo.
Yeah, we want to be very clear to my fellow Bronxites and all New Yorkers that we're paying too much and we're getting too little back and we deserve better. And fundamentally that we can have economic justice where you make more money while also making sure we make impact. And my entire vision is tomorrow begins today. And we have it in 3 different lanes. How do we address the true cost of living?
Right.
What do we do around affordable housing? And how do we improve significantly our public services? And as you know, this is home for me. You know, I've been doing this work from the time I was an assembly member to the time I worked for President Obama in the White House. But now I want to make sure that New York City is better, and we deserve change. And I tell people often, if you want to change the game, you have to change the mayor.
Right. Well, let's talk about this cost of living for a minute. Yeah. New Yorkers know, and you hear it more than I do. People say, listen, it's unaffordable to live here. Yeah. People are paying $2,500. We just talked about last segment, $3,000 for rent. Yeah. The minimum wage, the way it is. How do we make New York more affordable for the people who live here? Because there's definitely a push to get other people in, but how do you make New York more affordable for the people who are here?
We need the policies to actually work for us. So first, we need to have a guaranteed income that is actually proportional to living wage, not just minimum wage. MIT just did a report that said that a family with children of two ages would need $69 an hour, but yet people are talking about $30 an hour. It's simply not enough. If you have a guaranteed income, it would actually implement what New Yorkers passed last year, the last election rather, around the true cost of living. We actually are not making policies applicable to what the real costs are. If you're paying $16 eggs or $11 for a gallon of milk, then we got to make things more affordable. We need a local median income. Area median income is not working because it incorporates areas such as Westchester County. And if you're here in the Bronx, you need something that's more specific to your neighborhood. Then take it a step further. We need universal child care. We need to eliminate using credit scores when it comes to rent and home ownership. If we take those kinds of policies, you will actually put more money in people's pockets. And when people are asking me, okay, fundamentally, I want to have a home. Of course, we want to make sure you have that home. That's the reason why I say we need a new Mitchell-Lama 2.0 that's focused on middle-class housing, because essentially you have to be very rich or poor enough to get access to housing in New York City. It's absolutely unacceptable. If you change the fundamental cost when it comes to housing, what's going on with child care, and make sure people have more money in their pocket, then you have a better chance to win in New York City.
Yeah. I mean, I think about New York as I've known it down through the years. And to be honest with you, I remember under Giuliani administration, things were progressing where you had quality of life issues. I see right now, 2025, it's probably the worst it's been. A lot of people are saying, listen, you know what? When I put on a video and I see somebody being burned to death, I see all kinds of other stuff. The quality of life is going to be something that the mayor of the city of New York is going to have to address intentionally. How do you see that playing out?
Well, when Michael Blake is mayor, we're going to make those changes. So that's why that third bucket is public safety. And what do we do around that? If we have more of our police officers doing walking street patrol with body cameras on, then we actually free them up to keep us safe in our communities. And then we have mental health professionals actually addressing mental health concerns in our subways, our bus stations, and across our city. If we do that and amplify the 988 number and actually focus on addressing the deeper concerns, we can make things better. Public schools. We have so many right now that are wondering, how do we actually improve what's going on with our public education? I do believe that we should have civics, financial literacy, and mental health for every child before they graduate, and have a guarantee for every New York City student that when you graduate high school, you can go to CUNY if you so choose. And then that top 35% can go for free. We used to have this type of vision. So if you do these steps, you will address public safety, you will ensure we have better housing, you'll ensure that we have better education so that people can see quality of life. But then we gotta go a step further. We just need cleaner streets, right? We need cleaner subways. People need to feel like our city is actually what it is and what it should be. Mm-hmm. And right now, we're not addressing these concerns. We're not actually helping our small businesses. We're not helping people to actually know that New York City is a place where they can thrive. And fundamentally, my entire vision at blakefornyc.com lays out, this is the city we can have for our home, our city, our future. Our dreams can be achieved in New York City if you have a new mayor that can change the game.
But when you look at New York City, we understand small businesses, you mentioned lifeblood, right? But yet and still, we found after COVID, not receiving the funding. Everybody else got PPP. A lot of people, Bronx in particular, a lot of people lack this PPP. Small business being the lifeblood. If you got businesses that can't stay open, you got housing. You got a lot of issues here to deal with, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. I received that prophetically right there. So, like, it's that dynamic of, I've run small businesses myself. We have our public affairs firm, we have a TV network, we have our democracy project. So I understand that cost of living for the individual, but also the cost on the business. When 66% of our nonprofits, for example, are providing services to the city, but they're not getting paid on time, it makes things harder. It's one of the reasons why I say there has to be a reform on nonprofit reimbursement, but also make sure we get grants and funding and eliminate bureaucracy for these small businesses. Let's expand out and have more business improvement districts so we can actually make sure our business corridors are safer, but also are economically thriving. Fundamentally right now, it is not easy for our small businesses. And a lot of it is because we just have bad policy and mismanagement. And I remind people, the mayor of New York City is effectively a manager of a $100 billion enterprise. You have a lot of people right now who are hoping they can tell you they can run it. I have led from DC to the State House to locally, and we need someone who understands the dynamics. Lastly, it's not just about the small business and nonprofits. All the attacks that are coming out of DC, we have to have someone who immediately can address that and make sure that we're not raising taxes on New Yorkers. So when people ask me, how do I do all this? One of the things, we have absentee landlords. We have people who have homes here in New York but have homes in other places. Raise a tax on those individuals. If they have the ability to have homes in multiple places, you're then able to pay that from a pied-à-terre. You can cap overtime spending at the NYPD, where we had $1 billion last year that was not tracked very well. There are ways that we can pay for these programs without increasing taxes on New Yorkers and actually improve our quality of life. And that is the type of vision that I want to bring to New York City, and it's the work that I did in the Bronx, and that's what we want to do citywide.
You talk about the work that you do in the Bronx, and obviously you're running for the mayor of New York City, right? That's Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island.
Yeah.
We got to get around, right?
Show love to Manhattan right now.
And Manhattan, I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Well, we're on Manhattan. We're good, too, right? How do you get there? Because the fact is everybody knows you pretty well here, right? Yeah. But then there's other boroughs who say, listen, I don't really know him. How do you get that message across? And how do you instill for those people who are out there? Because there is this sense of, we don't trust government right now, yeah. Right? So how's that happen?
I start in reverse. So I remind people and introduce of who I am. I'm that kid that went to PS 79, 118 DeWitt Clinton High School, went to Northwestern University, had the chance to get trained by and then work for President Barack Obama. I think all of us can see right now when you have a president who actually cares about people, makes you feel better. Mm-hmm. And that giving that sense of, as a son of Jamaican immigrants, where my mama raised 4 boys and worked for 40 years in manufacturing, and my daddy was an 1199 man and working at St. Barnabas Hospital, people can make that connection to see that I truly believe in government. And when we talk about what's happening across the boroughs, as you know, being ordained, it matters. I've been able to go to different places, whether it's Bethany Baptist in Brooklyn, or Mount Nebo in Harlem, or Greater Allen and Mount Moriah in Queens. Of course, here as an associate pastor at Union Grove with Reverend Crawford as our lead pastor, Reverend Caroline in Staten Island. We can make the rounds. I'm also a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a Prince Hall Mason. I'm a 100 Black men. There are networks that we can tap into across the city that allow us to have greater exposure. And when petitions begin on February 25th, with the primary on June 24th, and the next fundraising deadline, March 13th, people need to see you across the city. Our job is to make sure that when people are hearing about a candidate, who is a candidate who actually has the only experience that I do, Michael Blake being that candidate, when we get across the city, we feel very confident that we will win this thing.
Yeah. Talk to me about, this economic stability, because obviously that's what's needed here. If we're going to turn the city around, it has to happen.
Absolutely.
How confident are you?
Very much so. I led the minority business program and African American outreach at the White House. When I was in the Assembly, I led the prompt pay bill so that we could pay businesses faster in 15 days instead of 30 days that were under 300 employees. That was a bipartisan bill with Republican Jack Martins out of Long Island. We understand this. And again, as a small business owner, I see it very directly. So first and foremost, we have to improve the economic and ecosystem so that businesses can actually hire and thrive and increase wages. But also, that's why I go back to, you have to have a guaranteed income. Fundamentally, you have to make sure people are making more money. Right. If you do that, you change everything else. And when people are asking, well, how do you achieve this? Baby bonds are being looked at and being implemented in Connecticut right now. We're seeing it in terms of an effort in Stockton, California. We're seeing right now in Cleveland where they're utilizing hospitals to re-engage the economic stability of the community. We know it's possible right now. And for the reality, we're not doing it because of a lack of leadership. And so when we think about how do we change the game, addressing the true cost of living by putting more money in your pocket and keeping more money in your pocket, having true affordable housing, including and addressing what's going on in NYCHA right now. Why are we still talking about people not having heat and hot water every single year? It's unacceptable. And then having better quality of living through improving our public services. You do all of that, you'll increase economic stability. And clearly, people are looking for a change in leadership to be able to do that. And so I will continue to drive home the point. In the moment that we're in, and the challenges we're facing, we should still believe in government, to your previous question. Government can change lives for the better. And I've been doing this work my whole life, and I'm now asking for the people of New York City to give me the chance to be their mayor. And if they believe in what I'm talking through and the vision of what we want to implement, everything at blakefornyc.com will lay out our actual city has a chance, because tomorrow does begin today.
So where do people find out more information about the campaign?
So go check us out on our website, blakefornyc.com. You can see the vision, what we laid out around education, around wellness, around economic justice. Of course, on social media, everybody's on social media right now. So if you go to Blake for NYC or Blake NYC Mayor, you'll see that there, or just my social as well, MR Mike Blake on X or Mike Blake 1922 on IG. But you'll find us in those different spaces. But we're ready to show people what's possible and demonstrate that a new generation of leadership is here.
Yeah. Michael Blake.
Jaime.
Thank you, my brother.
Bless you, bro. Thank you.
Bless you. Good to have you again.
Always.
All right, listen, now, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website for, I should say the website at blakefornyc.com. Again, blakefornyc.com, encouraging you, don't go anywhere. We'll be back more open coming up right after this.
.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city, and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak, and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
And we are back. The IRS is rolling out new tools and resources to make filing easier and more accessible. With the launch of its annual Get Ready for Taxes campaign, the agency is helping taxpayers navigate the tax law changes, avoid common pitfalls, and take advantage of the free filing options. Joining me now is the Stakeholder Liaison at the IRS, Yolanda Durant. And thank you so much for being with us. Good to have you back again.
Thank you for inviting me.
Listen, gotta get this right. I mean, people listen. I think the reality is people definitely will say the biggest challenge sometimes with this is in access to information, really just knowing how to navigate, right?
Absolutely.
Are you hearing that a lot?
I do.
So how do you counter that? I mean, obviously you're here, of course, but definitely information.
I think information is necessary, and a lot of people just don't trust themselves to do their own taxes. So they pay a lot of money to get taxes done. I'm never going to say don't hire a professional, but you still need to know the information. So we have a lot of information on our website, and we do have a free file system now, directly built into our website. It's our direct file. It's in its second year. It started with 12 states, and now we're at 25 states. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut, our local areas, are all part of the pilot program. So then you can just file your taxes for free on our website. With Stakeholder Liaison, I'm out here. I'm trying to educate people. I'm at libraries. I do individuals. I do churches, schools, small business owners. So we're trying to push the information out.
When we talk about direct file, obviously, as you said, these are now emerging to different states. How are you finding New Yorkers jumping in on this process?
It was actually really big success last year. New York was part of the first round, and people like it. It's easy, it's free, it's going directly to the Internal Revenue Service, so there's no did it go through, did it not go through. You're getting faster responses, and you know exactly where it was filed and that we have it.
Yeah. You know, when you have an IRS online account, a lot of people don't, right?
No.
And I know that's a push that you would like to see happen.
Yes.
More people get that IRS online account. What are the benefits for an individual having this kind of account?
It's so simple. People always say, I never got the letter. I never got the notice. If you have an online account, you'll see those letters in real time. You know that letters went out. You can check your account. You can cut down on scam, because then you'll see certain transactions on your account that you know is incorrect. For example, if someone files a fraudulent tax return and you know you haven't filed for that year, then that's a clear indication that your identity has been breached. So we really push for the online accounts. A lot of our elder community just doesn't like technology, which I understand, but it's there to help them, to make it easier. Therefore, you can track things. I move a lot. I'm very busy. I'm notorious for not emptying my mailbox. So if I have my online account, I can see, oh, a letter was mailed. I know that I need to get on top of that to stop penalties, to stop interest, and get ahead of the game.
Yeah, the online account certainly is the way that more and more New Yorkers and people across the country are really, taking advantage of it. And I think we've got so many people who are still like, I just don't want to do the technology thing, but it's here. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
Come on, baby, just come along. It's gonna be all right. Let me rub your back. It's gonna be fine. Listen. I think one of the challenges when we talk about the IRS is that there's so many taxpayers out there who have this dread.
Yeah.
It's the dread really that I owe, right? And they work themselves into worse situations. I'm preaching to the choir here. I've done this once before, right? Where you feel like, okay, I owe, and then you just kind of slow the game up.
Yeah.
But there's so many options out there
There are.
that can really help assist people in this process. So owing, would you help take the burden off of somebody who's owing right now?
It's really not the end of the world. The end of the world is not filing, not staying in communication with us. Just file. We have payment plans. We have offers in compromise if you're really just under the burden and you don't know what to do. But we can give you all of the options free of charge. Just call us, make an appointment at your local office, and we'll help you through the steps and navigating what you need to do. The biggest thing is people always say they don't want us in their business. So when you call us, you have to be upfront. You have to let us know your circumstances, because we don't know.
Right.
And if you can't make a $100 payment, you need to explain to us why. We're going to ask more questions. And then they feel like we're attacking them. We're being nosy. We're trying to help you so that you're not having this stress and burden.
Right. But, it's hard. I was like, I was talking with, the candidate Blake just a few minutes ago, that there is this lack of faith in government, right? And how much more complicated does that make your job when you're out there? Because there's this resistance. You're like, hey, I just want to let you know. And it's like,
Yeah, I get it a lot. Like, why are you here? What are you talking about? Or, you're just after my money. And it doesn't pay me, but we're trying to help you. You can't say, I didn't know, because that just doesn't hold up.
right.
So we're here to give it to you in simple, bite-sized pieces. We're willing to come to you where you want to meet, to make it more comfortable for you, to make it easier for you. We're always here. We've updated the website tremendously. We have tools on there to help you. You can ask a question. You can get real-time answers. We're making it as simple as possible, but you have to be willing to use it or meet us.
Right.
There's sometimes I go out and it's like 5, 10 people show up. And I tell them, please relay the message, get the message out there. And they're like, oh, this was really good. I can only do but so much.
Right. A lot of people are scammed.
Yeah.
And how prevalent are we seeing tax scams these days?
It's a really big thing. Scams are not a one-time thing. A lot of times they take your information and they may use it for a credit card. And then they hold it and wait a couple of years. If nothing happens, then they'll use it to do a fraudulent tax return. So it's something that you need to make sure that you're checking your credit scores, you're checking your transcripts, you're being diligent. We always recommend an IP PIN, which helps you file your taxes either by paper or electronically. Without the PIN number, that tax return is not going to be processed.
And the process of going through, if a person feels like they've been scammed, what do they do? How do they go about that?
Sure.
Because that's, you know, you already feel violated, you're not sure what to do.
So we always recommend filing a form 14039, which is our identity theft affidavit. So if, for example, it could be simple. You have a bank. The bank sends you a letter and says their system was breached. You attach that as supporting documentation that clearly your identity was breached. You have school kids, the school was hacked, you get a letter, you attach it. Your car was robbed, your home was robbed, you have a police report, you attach it, and you explain to us the level of severity that your identity has been compromised. And then you can fill out for an IP PIN after that, and you'll get a new PIN every single year. It's never repeated. Even me as a employee, I don't see anyone's PIN numbers. It's handled by a special department, only they can see it. And having an online account helps, because if you move or you misplace your PIN, then you can go online and retrieve your PIN number.
Right. For yourself, obviously this time of year is pretty hectic, right?
Yes.
What are the most common things that you're hearing right now?
Errors, just I'm scared to file, I don't want to make a mistake, which is understandable. Even if you hire someone, they can make a mistake, which is why we're trying to educate people on what to look for on your own taxes, even if you hire someone. It's human nature to make a mistake. If that's your only fear, guess what? You get a letter, you correct it, you fix it. I'm human. I have made mistakes. I get my letter, I fix it right away. It's just, don't let fear stop you, because it's something that you just have to do and it's not going anywhere. And the more you wait, the more damage is done.
Right. As we look to going towards April, obviously that deadline is looming. Let's tell people about the deadlines.
April 15th is your filing deadline. Small business owners, depending on how you're filing, will have a different deadline. But just do it now. Take your time. Don't rush. When you rush, then you make the errors, you make the mistakes, and technology is great, but it does fail. And you're hitting submit and the internet goes down. There's a glitch in the system and now it's late.
Right. And then that causes more issues.
Right, exactly.
Whatsoever. As I also think about some of the common mistakes that people make, what are things that people really do right that you want to emphasize, that you want to share with people too? You know,
I think what people do right is they ask questions. They come to the local walk-in office. Right now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have open hours. They're going to start rolling out some Saturday open hours. They're getting the information. They're getting either from their local library, or they use our free local help. And they're really getting out there. They're educating themselves, they're filing on time, they're staying on top of their accounts. That is something that I think people are really doing right. Or if they're hiring people, they're asking the right questions to make sure that that person is someone that is going to handle their account correctly.
Yolanda, it's been great. Obviously, as we get towards April, we'll bring it back again.
Right.
We want to make sure the public is educated and they have an opportunity to, you know, get the house in order, if you will.
Right.
All righty, Yolanda Durant, she is the Stakeholder Liaison for the IRS, and we thank her for joining us. Now, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website at irs.gov. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We're back with more Open coming up right after this.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet community media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
And we are back. Center 1968 stands at the crossroads of history and progress, dedicated to empowering Black women in politics, government, and civic life. Through groundbreaking initiatives, they're building pathways for Black women to lead at every level, from elected office to behind-the-scenes policymaking. Here now to share more, we've got the Executive Director of Center 1968, Stephanie Etienne, and we thank Etienne, I should say, I'm sorry, and thank you so much for being with us, Stephanie.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And, you know, I want to get the opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the work that you're doing, because I think it's very pivotal, very crucial for a time, you know, right now. So for people who may not be so familiar with Center 1968, let's first give them a little walkthrough.
Absolutely. So, Center 1968 is founded upon the year of 1968 when Shirley Chisholm, who is graciously behind me, ran for Congress and got her seat as the first Black woman in Congress. Our work is preference mainly on her great achievement, but of the achievement of all the Black women that were first at all levels of government. Our focus and our goal is to ensure that Black women, focusing on Black women, but all women, have the support and resources that they need to either enter the public policy sector, or if they're currently in the sector, thrive in that sector. Black women, women in general, tend to be thought about, communicated with, or engaged with up until or at the start of a campaign. But we want to ensure that Black women, all women, are not only engaged at that time, but they have the knowledge, the resources that they need to have positions on campaigns, to run for public office, to enter into the policy sector as informed individuals that not only can represent their communities and themselves, but can actually bring real change that we believe the country needs right now.
And when we look at Black women in politics, obviously there's many that we can point to right now, but if we're honest, the number does not add up. There's not equality there. Talk to me about that encouragement process, because as we're trying to build that next generation of leaders, I know that you start from the bottom and work your way up towards the top to really try to do a great job of encouraging people to get engaged in the political process.
Yeah, so we start off with women that are interested, right? Black women may not be holding public office, but we are the leaders in our communities. We are the ones that tend to start grassroots movements. We are the ones that tend to be in the background. And our goal is to identify those women, but also identify the women that may be in proximity to those women that just don't know how to start. So a lot of our work is on identifying those. And thankfully, with the amount of engagement that we have on the ground, with the nonprofit organizations already doing this great work, we're able to identify those leaders and put them through the many different programs that we have to equip them with the knowledge that they need to succeed. I think it's fair to say that, considering where the state of our country is right now, Black women are exhausted and we are tired, and we fully hear that, and because we are too. But rather than pouring out, we want to pour into ourselves and ensure once we do get back on that stage, when we do get back into the space of leading others and showing up and representing our communities and neighborhoods, we're not doing that alone. We're doing that fully equipped with the knowledge that we need to succeed, fully equipped with the networks that we need to succeed, and lastly, and more importantly, with the funding that we need to succeed as well.
Stephanie Etienne is the Executive Director of Center 1968, talking a little bit about the work that goes on in this organization. Listen, as you talk about, you know, women in politics and women in leadership, we know right now, presently, there's this push for the cuts to diversity, equity, and inclusion. At the forefront of those are women. When we talk about the importance of women in leadership, women in government, state your case.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's at the forefront of our minds as we are a nonprofit organization seeking to partner with more people. Our goal and our hope is that people see the impact that having women excused or removing women from space will have not just on women, but all of society as a whole. I think going back to the parity conversation, we're nowhere near that at the federal level or the local level here in Pennsylvania. But we've also, if we want to just see the work that women leaders have done and comparing that to their counterparts, we could see the impact that they've had. So I think right now in the country, there's a lot of conversations based off of narratives and not necessarily facts. So we like to be informed with our work. We like to show people that we're not here trying to dog whistle anyone in any way, shape, or form. But if we are women in this country and we pay our taxes and we show up like everybody else, we have the right to be represented by people that not only look like us, but think like us and will consider us as well. So it's definitely a fight that's ahead of us, but I can, speaking on behalf of the organization, say we are ready and prepared to do all that we have to do to ensure that women that are interested in running for local office or playing any sort of role in the political space have what they need to do so, considering where the country is heading.
Yeah. Love your background. Look back there, you see Shirley Chisholm in the background, got the 1968.
Sweatshirt, yes.
Yes,
You're representing loud and hard. Yes.
Representing, right? But I want to talk more about a couple of other people, and I want to bring up Barbara Jordan because I know you also have a
Yes.
Barbara Jordan Fellowship Program. And so
Yes.
For people who don't know about the Barbara Jordan Fellowship Program, who Barbara Jordan was, quick education, then tell me some about the program.
Yes. So all of our programs, we've decided to name them after Black women that were first in some way. Barbara Jordan was a trailblazer in her own right, representing the great people of Texas. And the Barbara Jordan Fellowship is a program that's focused on providing women that may not be in the public policy sector but are looking to enter it with intensive training, resources, and support. Our first fellowship cohort, we were proud to say we graduated 13 women. Some of these women have gone on to get internships. Some of them have gone on to qualify to apply for roles in local government. And we're seeking to relaunch that program this year, focusing on IT and tech. And policy specifically. So the program is structured in a way that we provide insight to women on Public Policy 101. And then at that point, we transition on into having an internship role aspect of that. Currently looking to partner with organizations looking for interns or fellows that they would like to bring alongside them so that we can provide very clear pathways of entering into the policy sector, but on the tech side for this year. We structure our programs to be very intentional. We ensure that they are very informed. So identifying women that have been in the field for quite some time is a goal of ours so that they can come and teach these courses, but also partner with these women as mentors as well to ensure that once they leave our fellowship program, that they didn't just have this one-stop experience, but it's something that continues on and leads to a level of career development for the ladies as well.
Yeah. Finish this off for me, from aspiring candidate to elected official.
I think now more than ever, we have to stand up and lean into the legacies of all these great ladies. They sacrificed quite a bit to stand up and being first. And I think here at the center, we're seeking to do that same thing. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be difficult. But if you look throughout history, the people that sacrificed are the ones that received the most. Those are the ones that were able to support the most people and serve the most people. And that's what we're here to do. So I think for anyone that's running for local office, anyone that's interested, we hear you, we see you. More importantly, but also know that you're not in this battle alone. And if you're looking for any resources or support, Center 1968 is here to help you do that.
Yeah. Give me a pulse check, give me a thermometer reading as to, the temperature right now. What's the temperature like, especially for women, given the fact that we've seen the cuts to diversity, equity, inclusion, hearing what's coming out of Washington, D.C., talking about the need for smart, competent white men to be in office. There's a lot of people that are left out of that mix, Black women included. Talk to me about your perspective and what that feels like. What's the temperature like?
Yeah, our perspective is all politics is local. I do think there is a need to understand what's happening in DC, but I don't want women to be flooded with information. At that point, if you're flooded, you're not being informed. So I think it's important for us to be informed with what's occurring, but not overwhelmed with what's occurring, because like I said, all politics is local. So we've engaged with women that are excited. We've engaged with women that are more intrigued now than ever. We've engaged with women that are invigorated with what's occurring, to, you know, stick themselves out there to be more engaged politically. We've also engaged with women that are exhausted, which is fair. I think that there's a level of overcompensating that women do in the country, unfortunately. And until we receive parity, that's just going to be our burden to bear. But that's why we structure our programs the way that we do, to provide not just access to knowledge, but also access to support. So yeah, we've received a mix, but I think that there's an oversaturation of what's occurring in DC. I think there's a level of strategy that's occurring to overwhelm people with all the things that are happening with these executive orders, because at the end of the day, executive orders need to go through a process of implementation. I call on the nonprofit sector to kind of stand up here a bit and identify ways to continue on with their missions that they made promises to. But I also call on us ourselves as people to kind of ensure that our representatives as a republic, as a democracy, actually follows through what they said that they would do, right? I think voters tend to believe that once they've casted their ballot, that that's it and that's done, but that's not how a democracy works. Your voice still matters, gathering still matters, networking still matters, coalition building still matters. So I think now is the right time to build those coalitions across, you know, color, creed, religion, to stand up to what's occurring and what's happening. Because I mean, the Senate may have 4 years, but the House has 2. Local elections are still occurring. So I think now more than ever is our time to stand up and say, we don't like this. And if the federal government wants to pass these policies and laws at the federal level, at the state level, you have a responsibility to me, and you're closer to home for me. So there's a level of coalition building that we can definitely do around that, so that implementation practices don't have as strong as an effect that people assume that they will at the local level.
Yeah. Stephanie, Etienne, got to leave you there, but thank you so much for enriching us with this conversation. Executive Director of Center 1968. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Listen, now if you want more information, you can visit the website at center1968.org and get all the information that you need. We've come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recablecast on Optimum Channel 67, Verizon Files Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. Of course, you get a brand new episode of Open on Friday with my girl, Rena Valentine. This wraps up this episode. I am Daren Jaime saying take care, God bless, and make sure to keep this channel wide open.